What's going on, guys? This is Yang coming from you from the Arcane Light House? House, right? House. Yeah. Store. LGS. Alright, whatever. So today, we're going to bring you another deck profile. Julian's was the first in a long series of decks that we're going to be showing you guys from our casual perspective. From budget to breaking the bank. Fair warning, this deck was kind of my child, so I did kind of spoil it. So we are gonna cover Scarab God. That is Scarab God, not Locust God. So if you can read that hieroglyphic goodness. Alright, so right away, we're just gonna start off with the creature base. So it's a very simple ramp. We're gonna go from lowest to highest. So the first card we run is Gravecrawler, because obviously it's a zombie deck. Gravecrawler is a great card because it can come back from the grave. Alright, anyway, I'm going to shut up now. But, so it can come back from the grave. Obviously, you can recast it. And it can't block, but it's essentially a 2-1 with, just a recursion ability, just back and back and back, as long as you have a zombie card on the field. Or a creature, sorry. Next card is Crypt Breaker. Discard a card, put a 2-2 zombie on the battlefield. Yeah. And then tap 3 zombies, and you draw a card, and you lose 1 life. So, it's also a good ability. Relentless Dead. 2-drop for 2-2. You can pay, when it dies, you can pay 1 black to return to your owner's hand, and you pay X, and then, you can do all that good stuff. Convert a mana cost X and put them from the graveyard to your battlefield. So if you have the mana, late game, always a good option. Next card, we're going to have, no explanation, Snapcaster Mage. So, get back those spells that you want to use, like counters, etc., sorceries, draw spells, all that good stuff. Next thing, because it's tribal, Metallic Mimic. The one card everyone thought was $2 and then suddenly shot up to $13. And I have no idea what it's at right now, but Metallic Mimic. We next have a Grave Reaper. So if you guys can read that stuff. So other zombies creatures you control get +1/+1 and exile target creature from a graveyard. So graveyard hit and put a 2-2 zombie on the battlefield under your control. Next, we have a Lick Lord of Unkst, or Unkst, how you ever want to pronounce it. So you pay 1 black, 1 blue, tap it, put a 1/1 blue-black zombie, wizard creature on the battlefield. Or you can pay 2 blue, 2 black, and it is not a tap ability, by the way, so you can do it as many times as you want, as your mana allows it. Target player loses X life and puts the X cards of his or her library into the graveyard, where X is the number of zombies you control. Next card, we have the Captain of Zombies. We have Diagraph Captain. So other zombies get +1/+1, and whenever the zombie creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life. So just hate that person off the board if you want to. And next card, we have a Zombie Master. All zombies gain Swamp Walk. We're going to get to this, why this card is in this deck, and this has Regenerate for 1 black. Next card, we have Diagraph Colossus. So, very important to play. It's a 2 colorless, 1 mana drop, so 3 CMC. As soon as you drop a zombie creature, he enters, you get a 2-2 zombie on the battlefield tapped, and he enters the battlefield with as many +1/+1 counters for each zombie card in your graveyard. So great early game, late game, whenever you want to drop him. Very good commander mana cost. Great overall card. Next card, we have a lot more buffs for the zombies. We have Lord of the Accursed. Other zombies get +1/+1, and you can make all your zombies gain Menace until the end of the turn for 1 black and 1 colorless. Next card, we have a Plague Belcher. I like this card because it comes with Menace, and whenever he enters the battlefield, you put -1/-1 onto a creature you control, so you can just nerf a zombie and you get a 5/4. And whenever a zombie creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Next, we have a Lord of the Undead. Other zombies get +1/+1 and it has an ability for 1 colorless, 1 black, and return target zombie card from your graveyard to your hand. So we have recursion from the graveyard back to your hand. Next card, we have Death Baron. Some unreasonable expensive card for unknown reasons. So skeleton creatures, why would you run them? And zombie creatures gain +1/+1 and have Death Touch. So a lot of buffs in this deck. That's stack. Next one, we have Undead War Chief. zombie creatures you control, or zombie spells you cast, cost 1 less, and zombie creatures you control get +2. I believe that's a... Yeah, +2, +1, yeah. So more buffs for that. Next, we have a Kalitas, Trader of Get. It has lifelink. If a non-token creature dies on your opponent's side of the field, you get a 2/2 zombie creature token on the battlefield, and you pay two colorless, 1 black, sacrifice another vampire or zombie, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Kalitas. Next card, we have the newest card, discount, what was that one card? Dark Confidant? Yeah, Dark Confidant. It's the opposite, so Twilight Prophet. It's already shooting up. I believe it's going to go up, unless, depending on how the reprint is. So it's a flying vampire cleric. It has Ascend, so, getting, 10 permanents in general isn't too hard. And then essentially at the beginning of your upkeep, you reveal the top card. You gain the much CMC in life, and your opponents lose that much life, depending.
Buy as many of those as you can.
Buy them all, and they get hosed. Population, Pound Town, you. So moving on, we have Gisa and Giraffe, or I thought it was like Giraffe or something when I first started. So when it enters the battlefield, it's two colorless, 1 blue, 1 black. So when it enters the battlefield, you put the top 4 cards of your library into the graveyard, and during each of your turns, you can cast 1 zombie creature from your graveyard. I'm thinking about taking this out. It's been kind of lackluster in the past couple games, but I've never really found a point to casting it, so we'll see. Ongoing project. Next card, we have Erebos, the only god in this deck. So essentially, it's indestructible, very easy to hit, 5 devotion, and in the early game, you drop it for 4. You pay 1 black, 1 colorless, pay 2 life, and draw a card, so gets to the deck a lot faster. Next card, we have Graveworm Muse. 1 card, love and hate relationship going on with this card. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw X cards and lose X life depending on how many zombies you control. Very good early game when you have a manageable amount. Terrible, so I would advise you to sack it if you have a sack outlet in this deck. If not, just blow up the field and just be like, huzzah. A card you really have to pay attention to is what I mean, yeah. So the next card is Cryptgas, so you know what it is, Extort, and then whenever you tap a swamp for mana, you essentially add another mana, so double black for each of your swamps. Now, a non-zombie card, Hostage Taker. I personally like it because as soon as it swings on the board, you can just take control of something on your opponent's side of the field until this leaves the battlefield, and you can cast it and use any mana source that you possess to cast that card as if those were their colors. Alright, converted mana cost, another one, a number 4. So, Solemn Simulacrum needs no explanation, enters the battlefield, you get a land tapped on the battlefield, basic, remember that kids, don't break the rules. And when it dies, whooshing, cha-ching, you get to draw a card. Next card is Have and Go Lick. Pay 1, you can cast a target creature card from a graveyard, so you can, and essentially, it's great because it gains all the abilities until the end of the turn. So you essentially cast it, and this card gains those abilities. So, great card for recursion, and can kind of stop shenanigans in the graveyard if your opponent's targeting certain things to cast back. Next card, we have Grave Titan. Death Touch, drop for 6, 2 black, 4 colorless, 6/6. Every time it enters the battlefield, get 2/2 zombies, and every time you swing, you do the same thing. Next card, we have Machias. All your non-heaping creatures get +1/+1 and have Undying. So that's a great ability. It also has Intimidate, so whenever a human creature deals damage to you, destroy it. Next card, we have a... Whoa. I don't know if you can see that. We have a Shiny Consecrated Sphinx. So, just extra draw power. Gets your game pieces a lot quicker. That's the point of this deck, is to essentially swarm your opponent with zombie tokens and make sure we have the cards that we have to draw them, is what I mean. So have the cards to have the ability to draw more cards to get your game pieces a lot sooner so you can do the zombie apocalypse. Last card, we have a Shieldred. Essentially, 7-drop. It kind of turns the tide in my favor in some games. So Swamp Walk, beginning of your upkeep, you can cast, you bring back 1 creature back to your battlefield from your graveyard, and your opponent sacks a creature. So that's it for the creatures. We're going to move right into the Planeswalkers. So I only run 2. I run 1 Liliana of the Last Hope. I usually go for the -7. I normally can protect her with most creatures that I possess on the battlefield, depending on how the game goes. And we have one Liliana the Veil, matching the playmat. So 2 Planeswalkers. I don't like running Planeswalkers in EDH decks, but this is the only deck I find an exception because zombies, Liliana, you know, casual player here, so, you know, just like get at least some of the lore in. Alright, moving into enchantments, we have 1 Phyrexian Arena. Get that extra draw power. We have 1 Endless Ranks of the Dead. Double your zombie tokens faster and faster. We have 1 Omniscience? I can't read it too much.
It's either omniscience or like omniscience.
Yeah, omniscience. So essentially, just
we're not English majors.
Yeah, we're not English. Moving on. So we have 1 Corrupted Conscience. I think this is a very underrated card in EDH. So as soon as someone slaps down something like huge, you're like, nah, son, GG, you don't know the way. Let me show you. And then you take it and you get to infect, and then you just play shoop the whoop, and you break into their life, and they lose because you essentially want to take one of their big stuff. All right, moving into the artifacts, we have 1 Dimir Signet, Mana Rock, 1 Sword of Light and Shadow. Another new card I personally like, the Immortal Sun. Players can't activate Planeswalker loyalty abilities. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw an additional card. Spells you cast cost 1 less, and creatures you control get +1/+1. What was Wizards thinking?
Buy all of them.
I bought 5 right off the back for like 7 apiece. This is going to be a very great staple, depending on... It's not tribal. Any deck can run this. Next card, we have Lightning Greaves. Azor's Gateway. Very interesting. Yeah, seriously, buy it. It's sitting at $6 right now, $6. You can draw a card by paying 1 and tapping it. Exile a card from your hand. If there are cards with 5 or more different mana costs, exile with this card. You transform it, and essentially, when you want to flip it over, add X mana of any 1 color to your mana pool, where X is your life total. So that's already amazing right there. So you just, let's say you're mid-game, you're sitting at like 25 life. You just have 25 mana. All right, moving on. Armillary Sphere, search out all your basic lands as fast as you can. Cage Sun, get double mana for some of the lands you want. Choose a color, and creatures of that chosen color get +1/+1, so more buff for your creatures. Obviously, Soul Ring. Moving right along, we're going to go to the sorceries. We have Bantu's Last Reckoning, board wipe. We have Read the Bones, draw power, and scrying ability. Demonic Tutor, searching your deck, reanimate, get that card back that you needed from your graveyard that someone killed. Serum Visions. We have Army of the Damned to generate tokens if you're in a pinch or you can't, you don't have the cards required to cast, to get the zombie tokens. We have Compulsive Research, essentially more draw power, dig through your deck a lot faster. Ponder to do the same thing. Damnation, board wipe, and Toxic Deluge. Should have bought this when this was sitting at like $3, $4. Now it's super expensive.
One of the best black cards.
One of the best cards because it costs 3, and then you choose how much you want to do. So it automatically lets you read the board, and it's a conditional effect, so you can actually kill things that say like this and that, I'm forgetting, it's like a condition, like when it gets -X. So indestructible cards they're vulnerable to those. So it goes around that loophole. It doesn't say destroy, it just goes after their actual physical attributes as power and toughness. So moving on to the instance, we have 1 Doomblade, 1 Pact of Negation, 1 Cyclonic Rift, 1 Blood Sun Zenith. Might take it out. It's okay. 1 Cryptic Command, 1 Slaughter Pact, 1 Supreme Will. I love those versatile spells that have counter abilities. They have the scrying ability. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, blah, 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 all that good stuff. We have 1 Dream Fracture, 1 Mana Drain, 1 Opt, and 1 Disallow. All right, so that was the main non-land. Those are the non-land permanents of the deck. Now moving right along to the mana base. This is where it's going to get heavy with the budget. So we have 1 Reliquary Tower, 1 Poor Man's Maze, 1 Dark Slick Shores, 1 Cavern of Souls because it's tribal, 1 Evolving Wilds, probably the cheapest land in this deck. Westvale Abbey. We have 1 Underground Sea. I don't know if you guys... There you go. 1 Underground Sea, 1 Temple of Deceits. We have 1 Sunken Hollows, 1 Watery Grave, 1 Creeping Tar Pit if you need that extra like swinger for the turn. We have 1 Phyrexian Tower, 1 Terramorphic Expanse, 1 Unclaimed Territory, another card for tribal, 1 Drowned Catacomb, check land, Urbog Tomb of Yawgmoth, great with Zombie Master, 1 Underground River, 1 Sunken Ruin for the mana filtering, Command Tower, Buried Ruin, get your artifacts back if you lost one that you didn't want to lose. We have 1 Polluted Delta as the fetch, and we have 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 islands, and we have 8 swamps. So that is the main components of the deck. It has been very consistent. It moves very quickly. It definitely punishes opponents for not paying attention to it if it flies under the radar, and it can go off very quickly in terms of zombie tokens. The counter spells are there just to make sure that your plays do not get countered, and that you can, like really push for full mount in terms of like, position in the game, getting ahead of your opponent, or like making sure they can't do anything. That, crucial pieces like certain things like Privileged Position, that enchantment that makes all other permanents on their control, like, what was it, have hexproof? Or was it Shroud?
Which one?
Privileged Position?
Yeah, so basically it gives you all your stuff hexproof.
Yeah, so stopping that kind of stuff. So that is the main components of the deck. I hope you guys liked it. I find it very casual. It's definitely a mid to late range game kind of deck. But that's my deck profile of how I see Scarab God, and I hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time with another deck profile. Peace.